Hello, everybody. The Army of Light, Earth Division, the boots on the ground. It's Shawna L. here. I'm a conscious channel. We're channeling Melchizedek these days, and we are talking about the Bible. Melchizedek is a priesthood of ancient beings of higher dimensionality who are helping this planet ascend. We are deep into this ascension process with Mother Earth, humanity as a whole. We are moving forward in consciousness. We are raising our vibrations, and we are part of this movement in terms of disclosure of what's been happening here with the negative reptilian regime. And I know this sounds outrageous to most people, but here we are, this information coming through me and other channels like me to start to alert Earth, humanity, seed consciousness here with this idea that the negative reptilians who are not of planet Earth are here controlling what we do, how we do it, manipulating the masses through mass media, excuse me, all this horrific stuff that's going on behind the scenes that is just sounds so implausible that you just can't almost get your mind around it. We hear the boots on the ground. We are part of a larger collective community here who are bringing forth this information slowly. We're kind of dripping this out. This is the phase of the ascension that we're in right now. It is disclosure. It is awareness. It is bringing conscious awareness to what's really been happening here on the earth. So I am glad you're here. It has been a fun ride decoding the Bible with Melchizedek and seeing where the parallels lie with back then and now, and really starting to realize that a lot of the Bible, especially Revelation, which we haven't gotten to yet, is talking a lot about the ascension, about the negative reptilians. It's all been a little bit encoded. So here we are decoding these concepts for you from Melchizedek directly. Okay, thanks for being here, everybody. I love you so much. I hope everybody's doing great. I'm doing well, just still recovering from my 4-day camping trip. It was raining and cold, and I was really happy when it was over. It was great to see family and all of that. I loved all of that, but man, I've got a bit of a tickle in my throat, and I've been a little bit tired. But anyway, other than that, I'm doing amazing, and I'm really glad that you're here. So last week, Decoding the Living Word, we talked about Noah, the ark, the flood, and the concept that this wasn't about necessarily back then, but this is actually a metaphor for today, what's happening with this ascension. So I encourage you to go back and listen to that. This is a continuation. We're going to pick up right where we left off in Genesis, talking about Noah and some of these hard-hitting passages that are really quite intense and damaging in terms of how God talks about humanity and blotting us off the face of the planet. So Melchizedek, who claims to be the authors of Genesis through Moses back in the day, want to help enlighten all of us to what's really going on here and why the words were written the way they were, what things were misconstrued, what things were deleted altogether. So we have probably several months of going through the Bible in this way. I hope you are finding it interesting and enlightening. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into this. We left off with Genesis 6, and now we're picking up on Genesis 7, verse 1. And this is where Melchizedek had me start. They said, let's continue reading where we left off. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. Lighting's not so good in here. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of all clean animals, the male and his mate, and a pair of the animals that are not clean, the male and his mate, and 7 pairs of the birds of the air also, male and female, to keep their kind alive upon the face of all the earth. For in 7 days I will send rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the ground. And Noah did all that the Lord had commanded him. All right. And they had me stop and they want to clarify some things here. Please let us explain this further. Dear ones, it was never our intention to present such a cold and callous depiction such as this. The idea that there is a mean God who hates humanity and wishes to wipe you all clean off the face of the earth is just untrue. Melchizedek's intention for this particular passage was to convey a restart, a rebirth, a closing of one chapter and an opening of the next. And they continue here. The rain shall come, as will the flooding, as will deep divides in the earth's crust through shaking, and the toppling of mountains, the eruptions of volcanoes, hurricanes and tornadoes. Fires will rip through the lands, and the seas will swallow up large portions of land masses. The polar caps will melt. The planet's surface will be undone, only to be reborn in its pristine state at the fifth dimensional level. This is not to blot out humanity and all creation. This is to save humanity and provide a way of living that is in balance and in harmony and not being ruled by those who lurk in the dark. All right. And they had me continue reading in the Bible here. So again, team, last week, we talked about how the flood, the resurfacing of the earth through this flood, is really talking about this ascension cycle that we're in now. A resurfacing of the planet's a resurfacing of the earth is a big part of what's going to be happening with Mother Earth. The Galactic Federation of Light has talked about this many times in previous videos of mine back in the day. So if this sounds interesting, you want to learn more about this, I'd go back to some of my earliest videos, some of like my first 100 videos, and scan through those headlines and see if there are those titles and see if there's anything that jumps out at you. All right. So again, this video building upon last week's video. All right, so we went on, and I'm going to skip to Genesis chapter 7, verses 17 through 24. The flood continued 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased, and bore up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the waters. And the waters prevailed so mightily upon the earth that all the high mountains under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed above the mountains, covering them 15 cubits deep, and all flesh died that moved upon the earth, birds, cattle, beasts, all swarming creatures that swarm upon the earth, and every man, everything on the dry land in whose nostrils was the breath of life died. He blotted out every living thing that was upon the face of the ground, man and animals and creeping things and birds of the air. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Okay. And here's what Melchizedek has to say about those verses. This, dear friends, was meant to convey a cataclysmic global event so that all who read these passages could understand what is possible. This was never meant to punish humanity. This act is meant to save humanity. Not only humanity, but all living creatures who choose to be on the new earth. And they continue. Dear ones, Mother Earth's transition to the 5D will require that all the breath of life be off planet when this metamorphosis goes through its final stages. We don't want to scare you. We want to empower you with knowledge to help you understand the bigger picture. It will be some time before we are at that stage, but we plan now for this. Excuse me. We seed consciousness with this information. We hope that we are doing so gently, yet with determination. All right, just a side note, guys, remember that we have about 1,000 years between now and the time this ascension is basically complete. So this is toward the end of that 1,000 years that the resurfacing happens. Let's just say around 800 years from now. This is when this is all going down. Okay. And again, this is really consistent with what the GFL had said earlier. They continue. No human will be on the planet for these cataclysmic physical and energetic events. All who have chosen to be part of the new Earth will be made ready while Mother Earth makes her transition. There will be some who continue their journeys elsewhere at the 3D level, and those who will choose to vacate this plane of existence. The animals and the insects have a different understanding of this transition and will be at peace as this happens. They will also be prepared consciously and energetically. It may seem as though this would be a very sad and horrific ending for the earth and for humanity, but we humbly ask you to consider a different perspective, one that takes into account the grand miracle of life, of evolution, of deep, meaningful change. As you jump more fully into the unknown, as you commit even more to your paths of light, as you continue to embrace love as your way of walking upon this planet, you set the tone and the pace for future generations. It is a challenging part of the process, and we thank you and we commend you for your focus and dedication. And they said, please continue reading, dear one. All right, chapter 8. I don't want to read more than I have to. There's a lot here. Okay, I'm going to move on actually to chapter 9. Sorry, team. Chapter 9. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every bird of the air, upon everything that creeps on the ground, and all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you, and as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. Only you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. For your lifeblood I will surely require a reckoning. Of every beast I will require it, and of man, of every man's brother I will require the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man, shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. And you be fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly on the earth and multiply in it. Okay, so this is chapter 9 again, towards the end of that. And really, verse 4 is where they wanted me to focus. And I want to read that part one more time. Only you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. For your lifeblood I will surely require a reckoning. Of every beast I will require it, and of man, of every man's brother I will require the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image. Okay, here's what Melchizedek has to say about this. Dear ones, We would like to clarify these passages. There is no reckoning here. There is no punishment. Humankind eats of animal flesh. Humankind sheds its body, that is flesh, when it dies. This is an experience of the flesh. When we talk about blood in this context, we are making a delineation between humans and non-humans. The bloodletting, the ingestion of blood, as has been revealed previously, are core practices of the negative reptilian regime. Our intent was to show that this type of practice is unnatural, unfavorable, as you know. Do not be fooled by the skewed language here. The ingestion of blood, the eating of blood, is not something that originated with humanity. These practices, in almost all cases, lead back to the negative reptilian agenda. Let me finish this up here. Humanity has decided that the ingestion of human flesh, human blood, is morally, ethically wrong, and this is a deep-seated belief. So, as you become aware of the bloodletting practices of this off-planet species, it trips alarms, as it should. Okay, so bloodletting, blood practices, things that kind of get lumped under satanic rituals. We have divulged some absolutely horrendous practices that are going on today at all strata of life here, all socioeconomic areas, levels. This is something that is it's so unbelievable and it's so horrific that you really don't want to believe that it's true. But these guides and the Galactic Federation of Light, Queen Elizabeth, I channeled her for 44 sessions here last year, talk in detail about how this goes down and what happens in these rituals. And it is a big part of what the negative reptilian regime is doing here, as awful as it sounds. So for most of you here who have been around for a while with this channel, you know what we're talking about here. So this is just, again, confirming that, these passages have a lot to do with today and understanding what this is, what's been happening here, and frankly, disclosing this information into the consciousness so that we can start to acclimate to these ideas on a broader scale. Okay. And there was a long pause, and I said, is there anything else? And they said, well, we feel that this is sufficient for us, dear one. Do you have any questions for us? And I wanted to come back to this one kind of toward the end of this again. Chapter 9, verse 6. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image. I said, what does that all mean to you? They said, dear one, let's start with this. God made man in his own image. This is a relevant theme throughout the Bible. As your consciousness expands and more of the light enters this realm of existence, your notions of God, your connection to Source, your unity with the all that is, will reveal much to you. You are all Source energy, as is Melchizedek. There is no separation. We are all bound by consciousness, all connected, all sharing true consciousness. And they said, we will have further discussions of God in subsequent sessions. My little chime just went off. That's so funny. Ah. All right. And they said here, there is no vengeful God ready to strike down those who spill the blood of another. What you do unto others, you do unto yourself because of the unity that's ever present. So that's what this means. Not that God's going to come down and strike down man for spilling blood, but just that if we do that, we're actually doing that to ourselves. This is just how it works. All right. That's really it for today. I've managed to get through a lot of the comments here over the last couple of weeks. And I know that a few of you are asking for more frequent updates and more channeling. So I think, certainly if that's something that the guides want to do, I'm open to it. It's something I think that they're considering. But for now, we're going to stick with this weekly cadence and, really dig into this a little bit deeper. But I hope you're enjoying this. finding it beneficial. Okay, team, thanks again for being here. I love you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You're making a huge difference. I know it's hard. You've got this. We've got this. All right, I love you. Mwah.